All right, so we're going to do an op art, an op art drawing. An op art, of course, means optical illusion. So we're going to do a drawing that looks like it's popping out. So it's going to look like there's a hand laying on our paper when we are done. So what we're going to do first is we're going to trace our hand. Now when we trace our hand, a common mistake is for people to put their pencil normal like this. And you're going to end up with like a super skinny hand. When you trace a hand or when you trace a body, what you want to do is you want to hold your pencil way back here and about there, and have your pencil straight up and down. And then just very slowly guide your pencil around. And where you're actually hitting your pencil, you'll feel on your hand. See how I'm actually hitting it right there instead of there? Because it's straight up and down. Lay my hand right back in those lines there. So when we trace our hand, we'll make sure our pencil is straight up and down and that we don't push into our fingers too hard. And that will give us a much more accurate representation of what our hand is supposed to look like, the outline of our hand. Okay, so there's an outline of my hand. Let me show you a bad example because I love having bad examples. Here's just a piece of scrap paper I'm going to show you on. So a bad example is to hold your pencil as you normally would, and then to just trace your hand in like this. And I'm feeling the pencil is actually on the bottoms of my fingers instead of the side of my fingers. And to go really fast too, because like hand tracing is so easy, I should just go through it real fast. And then that's what I end up with. You can see how that does not look, I mean, it looks like an alien hand or something. Okay, so, and I did draw kind of lightly, so hopefully you guys can see those lines. Then when you need a ruler, and we're going to draw horizontal lines, we're going to skip our hand place. So I'm going to get a ruler, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I've got my ruler here, and we're actually going to do the width of the ruler. And skip my hand and come back over. See how I do that? And I skip my hand. And then I'm going to line the bottom of my ruler up with the top of that line I just drew. Op art is not very creative. It really is more of a craft. I mean, you can, once you've got the craft like anything, you can get into some really creative ways to use op art. But we're really just using this, we're skill building right now. So this is very precise. Every place there is a hand, I am skipping over. All right, and we should end right up there. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're just going to, now most of your rulers have this little line right here, or you can just measure like ½ an inch or 1 centimeter. Either way, about the same. So I'm going to measure about ½ an inch here, because I am on the US side, so we're going to do this in inches, because we're weird over here in the US. And then I'm going to draw that line, and I draw a ½ inch on this side and ½ inch on that side, because we know that 2 points makes a line. Because we don't want this to be quite that big. But then what's cool about this is we don't have to measure again, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the bottom of our line, or the bottom of our ruler on this line. Now it is important that you pay attention to what you're doing here so that you don't get mixed up. Alright, and now we have ½ inch lines going all the way up. Okay, now comes the tricky part. The tricky part is the bumps over. I suggest you start at the very top here. So, and you're going to do this in pencil first in case you make a mistake. Because once you do it in marker, then you can't erase. And you're just going to have to kind of bump. Bump. And remember, when you're making a bump, you want to really be paying attention to where you're going. So if you just sort of look at where you're going instead of where you are, you're more likely to be successful. And then I'm going to do my next finger. So start with the fingers. It's a good place to practice. Okay, so this is where it's going to get tricky. So I'm going from here to here. That's probably the trickiest one there. And I'm going to leave that space right there. It's going to be blank because the flat line is right under my hand. And then so this is a nice big bump from here to there. And if it helps, put your finger where you're going so you don't accidentally go to the wrong place like that. There, I just went to the wrong one. Which is again why we're doing this in pencil to start. Already starting to take shape. So the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to color it in. Now when you color it in, I recommend that you use a color scheme. And you have to do this in a pattern. You have to do it in a pattern because the pattern will make the optical illusion stand out. So I think I'm going to do cool colors as my color scheme. And I think I'm going to do this cool purple color called Primrose is the color that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be just using then regular blue, and I think I'm going to use another secondary color of teal. It looks fun. Okay, so I'm only going to be using those colors. I want to use one of my dark colors to go over my line here. Then we're just going to, now you do not outline your hand. Do not outline your hand. You're just going to be using the horizontal lines. I'm going to go right over